Welcome to the Daily Jing for Friday, February 10th. Here's the quote of the day. Babies do not want to hear about babies. They like to be told about of giants and castles. Samuel Johnson, 1780. So I've looked at through your papers, your reader analysis papers, and give you contents. My initials underscore. You will find your papers in your shared with me folder, and you'll see them with my initials underscore WCA at the end of your file. So you are to post your final draft to the bottom of your rough draft after my end comment. Do not resolve the comments. At the end of my comments, I add this note. Make sure to click on the link in the video at the top of the page. Okay? Do not revise your paper in the rough draft file on Google Drive. Revise it in the word processor, in your word processor, and paste a new version to the bottom of your rough draft. You must use the assignment template. Find it in D2L Resources content. Also, you need to have written a full draft, 1,100 to 1,400 words, for me to consider it as a first draft. As far as the papers are concerned, they need to be they need far more detail. Get to the sentence level of the sections you talk about with Hoff. This paper is about you and not Hoff. It's about you as a reader. Tell us what you do when you read this essay. Produce a reading, perform a reading. Let's go to the schedule. So I put, this is Friday, today, the 10th. I put this sample here, sentence level reading. In this reading, you can see at the top of the page here, this person has quoted a section. It's a long sentence, okay? And then she says, when I first read this, I was completely lost. It went from the list of terms in which was easily to digest and figure out his theory of intensity to a huge piece summing it up. The term native level mastery stuck out to me, so I used one of my more I used a reading strategy and scanned the document further to see how the phrase might be used again. In the following sentence, it is used to speak on how well someone knows the language. I returned to the sentence a second time and decided to break the word up to native and level, another reading strategy I employed, which allowed me to see native as native speaker as opposed to someone who has learned a language coming from another language. This then helped resolve the clarity issue when first reading the above section. Okay, and I have some little comments here pinpointing the idea here that she talks about her reading strategies in both of these cases, and then she performs that strategy. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I'd like you to do in your papers. One more thing here, and this has to do with revision. So I value revision above all else in this course. If you write a rough draft and stand pat for your final draft, then you have not done the work of the course. If you don't agree with what I say, you should revise what I say you should revise, or what your peers say in subsequent papers. That's okay, but you have to do something. One thing you cannot do is not revise. Writing is about a revision. That's my first rule of thumb and only rule for this course. And one more thing, I am especially interested in how you revise the beginnings of your drafts. That is where the problem is set up, and that is where you get us into your essay. If you don't try to make the beginning better, then you have failed. And the essays that we are reading should be models for you, but you should not slavishly imitate them. Although imitation is always a good place to start, It shows me that you have been reading and thinking about the course materials. Always a good move in a college course. So the question of the day is, what's the next paper we're going to do starting Monday? It's the reflection invitation paper. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.